everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Steven. Today I am bringing you a review on Drew Estate's Liga Privada No. 9. This is the 6x52 Toro. It's a Connecticut Broadleaf wrapper, a Brazilian binder, Honduran and Nicaraguan fillers. Really a great looking cigar here. For the presentation score, I have this thing as a 9 out of 10. I really like the band. It looks very simple on there, but it does look it's striking. It looks good. I like the signature look of the Liga Privada, and then the number 9 there with the lion on the back. It just looks very nice and classy, although yet simple. Very good look there. The construction here, I really could not find something wrong. Maybe just a tad bit bumpy, but not enough to say that it's even bumpy and to knock it. The cap up top done very well, and then a very just even roll throughout the whole cigar here. Very nice spring throughout as well. A 10 out of 10 here for that construction. The color, I have this thing rated as an 8 out of 10. The only reason why is because the toe here looks rather bunched in spots, like the tobacco's bunched. It's not properly spread out or that a nice even look to the tobacco there. So only knock there. Other than that, the wrapper looks fantastic. One nice smooth color throughout the cigar here. This Vitola I have as a 9 out of 10. I like the 6-inch cigars, but more of a 54, like a 6x54 is more of what I would like to go for. Do like the 6x52, that's why it's up there at the 9 out of 10, but just not 10 out of 10 as the 6x54 would be. But gonna go ahead and cut this thing open. Very barnyardy, even a little bit of subtle sweetness in there. Can't pin down the sweetness, but definitely barnyard heavy on the dry draw. Definitely something sweet, kind of like a fruit sweetness, but not positive just yet what that is. Gonna go ahead and light it up. I'm not getting a whole lot of initial flavors out of the cigar, but what I am noticing is a absolute massive amount of resting smoke coming off this cigar. Seems like a black spot there on the tobacco down here. That's where all the smoke's coming out of. I'm not really sure. I've never had a cigar smoke this much on resting smoke. I mean, it is quite impressive what this cigar is putting off right now. But I'm going to go ahead and smoke this down towards the end of the first third, and then I'm sure I'm going to be picking up flavored notes here very soon in the flavor profile, but I don't want to keep you too long. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up those flavors here and then catch you back up with my thoughts. Bringing you back in here for the first third of this cigar. The flavor profile here for me is a chocolate, coffee bean, some fruit sweetness, and baking spices as well. It is rather nice. The baking spices kind of remind me more of like a nutmeg with a nice little kick on the end of them. As far as the intensity or richness of flavor here in the first third, it is a 7 out of 10. The enjoyability, a 10 out of 10. These flavors are very nice, and I'm really enjoying the richness of them and the balance. Have the complexity here as an 8 out of 10. Really is extremely well balanced. The only thing that would be better here or get the complexity score to rise would be the addition of another flavor. Finish here, a 9 out of 10. It is rather rich and long, just not as long as you'd like, but very, very rich there. The draw, I have a 10 out of 10 here on the draw, and then the consistency or our char line, I have it as a 10 out of 10. It's more of like a 9.5. It is just so close to a 10 throughout this whole first third that I just bumped it up to a 10 here. Our combustion score I have as a 9 out of 10. It just seems like it's smoking rather quickly here. Ash structure I have as an 8 out of 10. The only thing that I've knocked is that it is kind of leaning. So really the only knock. Other than that, it looks really solid and well put together. So an 8 out of 10 here for that. And the ash color, a 9 out of 10. There's only some subtle discoloration in that ash. Otherwise, a very nice light gray, even white-ish color there. Resting smoke, I've never seen this much resting smoke on a cigar before. I mean, it just comes off heavy. Very, very good looking and very large amount of resting smoke here. A 10 out of 10. Drawing smoke, a 10 out of 10. Mouthfeel, 10 out of 10. Temperature here, a 10 out of 10. And the aroma in the room, well, it is just really rich and thick here in the room just because of so much smoke coming off. A 10 out of 10 as well. Giving this first third a 9.10, a fantastic first third score. Gonna go ahead and smoke it down into the second third and then catch you back up with my thoughts. Bringing you back in about the halfway point in the cigar, or towards the end of the second third here. Still got a little bit left in the second third, but towards the end of it here. The flavor profile in the second third is a dark chocolate, white pepper, red pepper, some woody tones, earthy tones as well. Those earthy tones are coming off as more of a soil. Very, very robust flavor profile here, and it is extremely rich. I have a 9 out of 10 here on the intensity. It is very, very rich in flavor. I expect it to hit 10 out of 10 here in the final third. Enjoyability is a 10 out of 10. Still very, very enjoyable. Again, a very well-rounded flavor profile here, and it is very, very rich. Complexity, a 9 out of 10 here. The balance just slightly off with the pepper. It's just a little too peppery, but that's just the only knock. It is almost perfect. Very, very robust, like I just said 100 times before, but it is robust here, and it's got a lot of balance to it, just a little bit off with that pepper. Finish here, a 10 out of 10. Rich and long, it's phenomenal. The draw, a 10 out of 10. Consistency or our char line is a 9 out of 10. Just a touch bit wavy, not perfect on that char line. Combustion here, a 10 out of 10. The ash structure, well, actually it's starting to do it again here, but it did fall off before we cut back into the camera. Looked like an axe was taken right down it, and it's starting to do that again here. 7 out of 10, just because everything else looks pretty solid around it. 9 out of 10 on the ash color. It's very white here, but also there's not a whole lot of other color peeking through. It's very consistent there in that color. Resting smoke, a 9 out of 10. It is coming off, and it is coming off heavily, but just a subtle bit of gray there in the smoke. Not that nice blue hue that we like to see. Drawing smoke, a 10 out of 10. Mouth feels a 10 out of 10 still. The temperature still a 10 out of 10. And the aroma, a 9 out of 10. It's getting a little bit lighter in the room now that we're in the second third. Maybe picking up here in the final third, but we'll see. Just 9 out of 10 there. A 9.42 for this middle third. That is another fantastic score. Gonna go ahead and smoke it down into the final third and then catch you up with my final thoughts here on the cigar. Bringing you back in for the final third here of this cigar. The flavor profile here is a red pepper, espresso, chocolate, and molasses or a natural tobacco sweetness. I'm not really sure which one it is, but very sweet. Nice little touch here in the final third. Intensity or the richness of flavor is still a 9 out of 10 here. Thought it would peak up to a 10 out of 10, but just very, very rich flavor still. Just not extremely, extremely rich. Very, very rich though. 9 out of 10 here on enjoyability. I think the red pepper and the pepperness is just a little bit too much here as far as the, throwing off the balance here in the final third. And my palate, I'm not really liking that red pepper as much. Complexity here, a 7 out of 10. 4 flavor notes in there, and then obviously the balance being off there with the pepper knocks it a little bit, so 7 out of 10 there. Finish here, a 10 out of 10. It is very rich and long in flavor. The draw, a 10 out of 10, still getting very good puffs of smoke out of the cigar, not pulling too hard, and it's not too loose either. Consistency, or our char line, it is, well, right now it's pretty close to perfect, but it's just slightly wavy throughout, so a 9 out of 10 here. Combustion, 9 out of 10 as well. Ash structure looked really good here in the final third. Before or after it's fallen off, it's looking really good right now, is what I'm trying to say. Before it fell off, it still had that kind of axe look to it, so just deducting for that, and then now it's looking good, but 7 out of 10 here for that. The ash color, though, very, very consistent there. Very good looking white ash there, a 9 out of 10 there for the ash color. Resting smoke, a 9 out of 10. It's coming off still very, very strongly here, but just a little bit of gray there in the smoke itself. 10 out of 10 on the drawing smoke, still getting big puffy smoke clouds here. 8 out of 10 on the mouth feel, as it is just slightly coarse and just a little too much pepper on the tongue and roof of my mouth. Not a whole lot here on the sides going on. 10 out of 10 on the temperature, and then 10 out of 10 on the aroma, giving us an 8.84 for the final third of this cigar. The strength here is a 9 out of 10. Actually, as we're getting closer to the nub here, it's getting closer and closer to a 10 out of 10. Very, very strong cigar. Also very, very strong in flavor as well. As far as the thirds go, we got a 9.1 in the first third, very, very enjoyable, but the middle third, extremely enjoyable at a 9.42. That is a fantastic score. And then the final third was our least enjoyable of the cigar, but still a really great score at an 8.84, giving us a total score of a 9.12 for this cigar. Gonna go ahead and do the price per point score. These things MSRP for about $18 a stick, giving our price per point score a 1.97 for this cigar. It's a little bit on the higher side, but for the richness of flavor that I'm getting out of the cigar and the enjoyability factor, it's a no-brainer for that price point. Really, really a great smoke here. No issues as far as the draw or any combustion issues. It was really great throughout. And then obviously the flavor was fantastic and very delicious throughout this whole cigar. If you liked the video, drop a like, comment if you've had a Liga 9 before. Go ahead and leave that comment on what your thoughts are on this cigar. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll see you next time here on the Smoke Shack.